Hey, it's Lauren. So today I have a very specific look in mind. You know, sometimes when I do my makeup, I don't really know what I want to do, and I just kind of wing it and like throw things on as I go. But today, like, I have a very distinct look that I'm going for. So I'm gonna have some more coffee. And we'll get started. So, as you can see, I've got this little breakout right now. And I've had perioral dermatitis in the past, and so I'm kind of playing the game of like, is it a pimple? Is it perioral dermatitis? Either way, I'm leaving it alone because I don't want to cause a flare. So I'm going to start with my Merit Minimalist stick. I'm really enjoying this right now for the overall coverage, the finish, the fact that I can use just this and not need a concealer and a foundation. It's pretty great. I always get, where is it? A couple little marks and then I don't see them until later. So as you'll notice, I'm keeping this coverage predominantly to the center of my face. That's where I tend to have a bit more redness and just need a little more coverage. That is the really nice thing about having a product in a stick form, is that you can really just physically see and control where you put it. So like I said, kind of got this little breakout here, so I am not going to cover that. Reason being, I have just found in my experience that if I put anything over a perioral dermatitis flare, it just makes it worse. I even have a little bump right here, which that actually I do think is perioral dermatitis. That's probably a pimple, but whatever. So really quick, great coverage. This thing just plays really well with my skin. I know that the Merit stick didn't work for everybody. One of my friends, I know that for her skin, she has a drier skin type than me, generally speaking. And it just did not work on her skin, and it accentuated texture a lot is what she said. So there we have it, kind of our overall base coverage. Now what I'm going to do is take some of my Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I'm going to lightly set this all over my face. And I can use this to get a little bit of coverage over this. I've found that powder products don't seem to irritate it as much, so that's what I'm going to do. So, fun thing that I did yesterday. So we moved to Colorado, and one of the things you learn very quickly when you live here is that everyone is outside. Everyone is outside doing something, biking, running, walking. There's something for everyone, right? And so I discovered at our new house that there are some really awesome paved trails. And so when I was younger, I used to rollerblade for like hours and hours and hours. Like I did that all through junior high and high school. Little less in high school because I was busy with other extracurriculars, but I used to rollerblade a ton. I loved it. I was in really, really great shape whenever I would do that. And after seeing all of those trails, I was like, I should get some skates, even though I haven't really done it in a long time. My husband and I tried to kind of pick it up in college, but we didn't really live in an area that had like a ton of paths. So, you know, I didn't really do it. And also my skates that I got at that time were a little bit too tight, and so it just was not fun. So I called around, found some skates, and yesterday went for probably a 45-minute skate around those trails around my house. And I was pleasantly surprised by how my muscle memory kicked in. Also a little terrified because there were some steeper downgrades than I thought that they were. I'm going to take some of my Angelina blush from Thrive. This is a strobing blush, so I'm going to skip highlighter today, and I'm going to place this a little bit higher up. I'm using my Curateur brush. So that was super, super fun. My husband just happened to come home while my daughter was still asleep, so I was able to go like by myself. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out how to skate with a stroller. So excited. My sister started longboarding with her boys. She has 4 boys, and one of which is in a stroller. And so my sister goes longboarding with pushing a stroller. It's pretty awesome, honestly. I'm pretty inspired. I'm like, if she can do that, I can do it with rollerblades. So, love this blush. It's so like naturally flushed looking, which is really kind of what I want today. All right, now let's move into some eyes, huh? I'm gonna use also from Thrive their palette number 3, and I don't want to do this. I'm gonna take this lightest shade. These are also Causemetics brushes. This is the premium line, which I really, really love. I'm gonna just kind of use this to cancel out some of my eye veins. My eye veins are a little bit blue. And so sometimes it's nice to use a lighter shadow to just slightly cancel those out. You could also use a cream primer for that. I'm just being lazy if I'm being honest. And I'm doing a very quick light coating of this. I'm actually going to pop a little bit right into here. You'll notice I've kind of got this like little indentation there. And so I personally like to put something a little bit lighter into that corner. It kind of pops it out and balances it a little better, I think. You know, honestly, you just have to play with, you know, your eye shape and really find something that works for you. Gosh, I love that blush. It's so pretty. So pretty. I have a giant sleep line. It's, oh God, it's really early, you guys. I had to start waking up a lot earlier to film. Since we have moved, my daughter has been waking up a lot earlier. And yeah, she comes downstairs at like 6:30 now. So I wake up at 5:30, which is why I've got coffee. And last night, she woke up in the middle of the night and decided to go like wander the house. I didn't hear her. I didn't wake up. She's like a vampire child. You don't hear her. My husband heard her. I heard him get up and I didn't know why. And then I realized my daughter was in the hall. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm going to wake up Google." She talks to Google and asks Google to play Let It Go because we're in the obsessed with Frozen phase. All right, going in with this kind of camely color. I love this color so much. I'm using a slightly larger Causemetics brush. Let me show you the difference here. Here is the one that I use kind of for my all over colors. I think this was the medium size premium brush that they had. I have to look in my cart. And then this is like the larger one, which you can use for blending, or if you're like myself and you want a really soft application of color, you can use to apply. I love this brush so much. Their brushes really kind of do the work for you. I did a video a long time ago kind of talking about all of my brushes, and you know, I had just gotten a lot of these, and someone recently had asked me like, do you still love your Causemetics brushes? Like, I'm thinking of investing in some. And the answer is yes. You'll see me most of the time use either my Causemetics eyeshadow brushes or my Jones Road Beauty. Those are really kind of my 2 favorites. And I think depending on your preferences, if you're looking for something that is vegan, synthetic, go with the Jones Road. If you don't mind using natural fibers, you could use a Causemetics. I think that they both do an excellent job. Okay, and I'm gonna take that smaller brush that I initially used, and the nice thing about this brush in particular, it's a little bit more, like it's kind of fat and then it goes to like flat, you can see. So I like to use this one sometimes. I'm gonna dip into that camel color again, and I'm gonna put a little bit underneath here. I like doing this because it always just kind of makes my eyes look a little bigger, a little more alert. We'll take alert today because I'm really tired. I like to do this because it just kind of makes everything look a little more tied together. Again, it's one of those things I think works really nicely with my eye shape. All right, now I'm going to use a Chikuhodo brush. All of these brushes, the Koyudo and the Chikuhodo, are Japanese brushes, and I just think that they are some of the best. You can get them on Beautylish, by the way. So now what I'm going to do is take this deep chocolatey kind of color, really, really lovely, and I'm going to accentuate that outer corner. And one of the things I'm really going to try today is to not overblend. We have this one neighbor that has the loudest car, and he leaves at like 6 every morning. Dude, you can hear him for like a mile. So loud. Okay, so back to this chocolatey kind of color. I'm gonna do a better job of not over blending. Sometimes I think, you know, you're told blend, 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 and I think that there's so much value in that. But I also I was looking at a makeup artist's work the other day, Patty Dubroff, if you know who she is. And one thing I noticed, she had, I mean, it was all soft and like nicely blended and stuff, but it was not over blended, because sometimes when you over blend something, you lose the color and the impact of the shadow. There is definitely an art to understanding how much to blend something out. And so I know sometimes like I am guilty of over blending, because you don't necessarily want like a hard line. Look how soft that applied, by the way. I think these brushes are just magical. The nice thing too, I kind of have found with these brushes is like you don't have to do too much blending. Like a little bit over the top there and that would be perfect. I love the shape that that brought up. Okay, so yeah, I really want to work on not over blending, so I still have kind of a stronger statement with my eye makeup. I'm just following kind of the natural shape of my eye. You'll notice I'm opening and closing to kind of figure out where that placement needs to go. It's hard because I need another light right here. So I kind of get like a natural shadow and I have to like figure out if my placement is on point. All right, I can live with that. All right, so now I'm gonna take that fluffier blending brush that I have, and I'm gonna start and blend a little more in here because I feel like I kind of made that a little darker than I want. And then I'm just gonna lightly blend out that top. Kind of blend that stuff a little bit better right there. And leave it alone. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna leave it. It's so hard sometimes because you think that you need to keep working the shadow. I'm gonna try to just not over blend it. I want it to have some strength. All right, I need to lift that up a little. Okay, now what I wanna do, I'm gonna fix my brows. I'm gonna use my Uoma Brow Fro. Really, really love just throwing on a brow gel, especially when I have bangs. It's like they look a little nicer, but I'm not fussing with them too much, especially because they get covered up. So, and this particular brow gel has a lot of pigment and a lot of hold, which I really like. My brows naturally fall down, so I lift them back up. And the nice thing about this one in particular, it's kind of got some fibers. You can definitely like kind of angle it and drag that tip on the skin to get more pigment payoff. Obviously, it's not as precise as if you were to use like a brow pencil or pomade, but I'm kind of also okay with that. The one thing I'll say, look at the difference, it's so good. The one thing I'll say with this is you do have to be careful because this wand is tiny but mighty and it holds on to a lot of pigment. Like when you pull this out of here, you can see it's like got this like little glop. And I really, like, I have to wipe this brush off quite a bit. So a lot of you always ask me, like, what do you use on your eyelashes to make them so long? I do use a lash serum I have for a very long time. I've kind of switched around over the years. For a while, I was using Rapid Lash, which I really liked. Then I decided to try Babe Lash, which I thought I really liked, but I realized after a while looking back at photos that my results with Babe Lash have not been as dramatic as Rapid Lash was. And I was planning on going back to Rapid Lash, but then I was contacted by a company called New Lash, Neu Lash, and they sent me some of their products. So I will keep you all posted. I mean, you'll see in my videos like what's happening too, but I will definitely kind of like check in and we'll talk about that because I do get so many questions about my lashes. They also sent me one. They have like a lash and a brow serum. So I'm using the brow serum too. Again, you can't really see my brows. It's not like a huge deal, but yeah, I am using that too. So, and predominantly on the outer ends of my eyebrows because my my brow tails tend to be a bit thinner. All right, so I spent longer on those than I thought I was going to. Once I start working on my brows, I get a little perfectionist with them. Next, I'm going to use some of my Rare Beauty, the Perfect Stroke eyeliner. So sometimes I am bad and I over cap things, and this is like kind of starting to crack, which is not a big deal because it's got like this inner sleeve. It's just this white part that's starting to crack, but like be careful with your stuff. Don't be like me. All right, so I'm going to concentrate this liquid liner on the outer half to really lengthen my eyes and make them look larger. That's something I've really kind of learned over the years is like, depending on where you place your eyeliner, it's really going to change the shape of your eye and kind of what it looks like. So I am going to start kind of about here, like over the center of my iris today. And I'm really trying to make it straighter, not so up. I do want a little bit of an angle, but and it kind of is creating like that batwing liner. Sometimes I do that. My eyes are not hooded, but they are pretty deep set. You can see the shape of my brow bone. So sometimes this kind of like extension, I do a very soft sweep and connection between the two, but when I have my eyes open, it does look straighter. So we'll repeat that on the other side and pray that it matches. Yeah, 0 to 100 real fast with liquid liner. And okay, let me see. This is good being able to like kind of sit back and just look in the mirror. Really see the overall shape. Listen, I'm never going to be that person who has perfect liquid liner. We're going for a general idea of what it should look like. All right, now I'm going to put on some mascara. Today I'm going to use the Clover by Clove and Halo. And this mascara is really pretty good. The one thing I will say is that I'm wondering, because I haven't used this in a little bit, if it's dried out at all. It's pretty liquidy at first, but the wear was really pretty good. And it definitely made my lashes like super voluminous. So there's two different sides to this brush. There's like kind of the little spiky side, and then there's like some thicker chunky teeth. I've kind of discovered I don't really like the thick, chunky teeth for my lashes. I like the thinner side a little bit better. So we'll use that. And I like to really kind of focus a bulk of the product at the root with this one and drag through. I feel like it gives almost like a starbursty kind of effect. It's definitely thickened up a little bit since I first got it. I don't think we've quite hit that sweet spot of like what I personally want in like a really like creamy mascara. We're not there yet, but I definitely think it could get there. I just personally, I like when a mascara starts out extremely creamy and I don't have to wait a long time for it to reach that like desired texture. I got these like little clumpy bits. Okay, that's a little better. And normally I would use a safety pin, but I have tweezers in front of me and that's what I'm using today. All right. It's definitely a dramatic mascara. I'm gonna have to wipe off some of that. Okay, next eye. And you can see like when this comes out, it pulls out a lot of product, so I definitely have to wipe this one off. So I always think it's kind of funny, but like I feel like I have the good lashes and the bad lashes, and they kind of like switch sides on which is going to behave better. Today this side won. This side was naughty and didn't want to cooperate. So I'm gonna let that dry and then we'll flake that stuff off. Now what I'm going to do, sticking with kind of a warm toned theme, especially with my blush, I'm going to use my Spice lip liner from MAC. Ooh, I need to sharpen this. That's a little dull. You should be able to flick off this excess. This mascara, because it's on the wetter side still, it does take a little bit of time to dry. So I always try to make sure I give it ample time so I don't make a big smear when I go to flake it off. Much better. All right, and I sharpened my pencil. So again, Spice from MAC. And the other thing I'm gonna do is I make my line with the point, and then I kind of lay it almost flat against my lips. So I can get some of that color. All right, and the final step for today's look, Glinda Lip Mate Topper from Thrive. This is such a beautiful color. It's like a sheer rose gold. Look how sparkly it is. And I find that the sparkle in this doesn't translate to like big glitter chunks. It just kind of enhances the shininess of it. It just makes your lips look so voluminous. But that is today's face. It's a little glamorous for going for a skate around the neighborhood, but I am that person. So, you know, I'm living my best life over here. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Helps other people to find my channel and I can continue making this kind of content for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.